thank you. So we just want to talk everything Young Heart, essentially. So very excited to get into it. I've been listening to it nonstop. I guess to start, it's been out for nearly 2 weeks now. How has the reception been? How are you feeling about it?
Um, it's been amazing. Like it's so strange that the songs are like finally out there because I
Right.
had them for so long. Like I started writing it 4 years ago, and so some of them had for ages, and I've like just kind of been waiting to hear what people think, and it's just been amazing. People have been so sweet. I've seen so many comments of like people saying their favorite songs and stuff, and it's really nice. Yeah,
So nice. So was it more like excitement leading up to it or nervousness or like just a mix of both?
it was kind of a mix. Like the week before, I got really nervous because
I bet.
felt really real, and because it'd been this build up for like the few months before, and then suddenly it was like, oh, it's coming out, and
Right.
yeah, it
It's
got
also
kind
just
of,
out of your hands then, like you can't do anything. So
we've just been working so hard for so long to make it kind of perfect, and yeah, it's strange that it's now out there, but definitely
yeah.
exciting.
No, it's great. Has there been like a consistent compliment that you've been hearing from fans or anyone just like maybe about a specific song or just in general? Or they're just like, yeah, new music.
I've heard like, I mean, I've definitely seen some favorites. Like people have been enjoying The Other Side, um,
Nice.
and they've been enjoying Celestial Dances. Which,
Yes. I've seen a lot of talk about
yeah,
that. So fun.
yeah, I love that one too. But it's like I'm excited to for when I can actually play them live, and
Yeah. I mean, that's coming, right? That's the next step, hopefully.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, we've got a show booked for the end of the year in London, which will be like the first one in
Oh my
November.
gosh. Okay, so a little bit of a wait, but still.
Very excited about it, like just to actually have a proper show. So
Yeah, I mean, it's been so long for everybody. Even like no one's seen live music in so long. So there's like a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of excited fans out there just like itching to
yeah,
go see you live. Well, so speaking of it being a while, like this is what 5 years since your last album. Was that? Is it? Like math.
yeah, I
So,
think that
something like that. Was that an intentional? Did you always think it was going to be that long, or did it just kind of work out that way?
definitely wasn't intentional. I kind of, I mean, I think I knew I wanted a bit of a break at the
Mm.
beginning. I tried to go sort of straight into writing after touring the last record, and then didn't really get very far, and I wasn't really enjoying it. And so then I went to India for 3 months,
Oh,
um,
nice.
just like to forget about writing and just have a break. And I went with my sister and my cousin and a friend, and that was really fun. Just to I think I just needed a bit of like some normal experiences,
Yeah, I'm sure.
because literally kind of since I was 14 I've been putting out record after record and touring and literally non-stop really. So just to like spend the summer with my family and just be normal
Yeah.
um
Well, also that's just so young to start, like doing all that. So you probably were just like, I need to do like a normal teenage thing or
yeah,
like our early 20s kind of thing.
exactly, yeah, like just go traveling, and it was really fun, and I feel like a lot of that imagery sort of has fed into the to
Mm.
way. Definitely actually on Celestial Dances I feel like those like big sky, like really beautiful big skies they have there, in the song in that one. Yeah.
So was the album kind of coming together over the course of those like 4 or 5 years, or was it more of a thing where you were just writing music as you would, and then at some point you had to be like, okay, think of it as an album?
And I was always thinking of it as an album, and but I think like at the beginning I really wanted it to feel like musicians in a room together, like we were playing
Mm.
very authentic and natural, and kind of just like a moment captured.
Right,
Uh,
that's cool.
and yeah, I was listening to like a lot of Etta James and Nina Simone at the beginning. I think that's what inspired that. Just hearing like the way those performances were captured, like they're so beautiful, and so I
That's
kind of
some
was,
that's some good inspirations. Like those are good
yeah,
ones.
they're amazing. And you can kind of hear that, like the first song I wrote for the record was Young Heart, the title track,
Hmm.
and that's more soulful. and I think that came from listening to a lot of Etta James. But
Did you know pretty quickly? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, you go.
I was gonna say, did you know pretty quickly that Young Heart was gonna be like the album title, and then also just like the kind of idea surrounding it, or did that come later?
No, actually, I knew it was like the core. Like when I wrote that one, I thought, okay, this feels different to anything that I've done before. So I think this is a new sort of direction. So it did feel like the core of the record, but I didn't really decide that that would be the title till the very end. And originally I wanted to call it The Witching Hour, which is like the beginning, because that's when I do like a lot of my writing at like 4 a.m.
Wow. I'm always fascinated about where album titles come from. I think there's always a cool story in there. You know, they're like people are like decided on one thing for so long, and then the last minute they're like, actually.
Yeah, it's really struggle naming all of everything that you've done, like putting it under one title.
Yeah.
I think that's why it took so long to finally come back to Young Heart in the end. But yeah.
Right. I'm sure just like second guessing, like, is that what it's gonna be, or am I gonna change my mind? If you had to kind of describe the album overall, not even in terms of sound, just like as an album, how do you think it like differs in a few words, like from your previous records? Like, what is you said you kind of moved into a different style of like writing and everything, but how would you kind of sum it up as like why it stands out from what you've done before?
I think it's a lot more stripped back than the last record. Like that, the last one was quite dramatic and like big and like ethereal, and this one is like I wanted the vocals to be really dry and like really intimate. But I guess it's a bit more country sounding. I've actually always had a little bit of a country edge, but it's kind of been hidden. And you can hear it now because I'm playing the guitar a bit more.
Yeah.
So I guess that I don't really know. I'm really bad. I've always been bad at kind of explaining what my sound is, I guess. But
you're like, go listen to it. You'll figure it out.
But it's got a classical influence as well, because I grew up listening to a lot of classical music.
Oh, cool.
So it's a mixture.
So in terms of like time scale, so you started writing it a few years back kind of, and then did it come together pretty quickly and then you kind of sat on it and tweaked it, or was it like a few years of continuous like writing, and then like last year it came to a point where you were like, okay, let's figure out how to make this one cohesive album?
No, it was quite a long journey, like making this record, and like at the beginning I had quite bad writer's block, because a lot of the themes of this record is heartbreak, and so that's something I was going through at that time, and did space from it, I think, and I found it really difficult to write or to listen to music or anything. So I feel like you need to feed yourself lots of different music to be inspired. And I didn't really want to listen to anything, and so it just took a long time to feel inspired by something and to be able to finish the songs. So they kind of came in fragments over the past 4 years, I guess. So yeah, it's been a long process, and even recording it was kind of hard just to let go of the songs and had them for so long. But they're definitely favorites. Like my favorite album so far, because I think it means so much more than.
Does that make it feel? Do you feel kind of protective of it almost now? Like I know it's out there and there's nothing really you can do, but like, are you, because it's so the content is so close to your heart? Is that kind of like, I don't know? Do you feel more vulnerable or something now that the music's kind of people are seeing it and listening to it?
I don't know. I did for a while. Now I feel, because I've had space or time from that, so I feel like it's quite nice to share it and to see that people who everyone goes through that, so it's quite nice to see people can relate to it. And but definitely, like when I was recording it and just how it all came together, I was very protective of how it sounded. And yeah,
that's so cool. I mean, was it cathartic in a way too, just to like write your way through heartache or your breakups?
I don't know, I didn't enjoy it. I found it quite difficult, but it's like they're my favorite songs, but they were definitely the hardest to write. Yeah.
But that's cool. There's a feeling of accomplishment to that as well. Just being
Yeah.
like, I had to force myself through this, but it turned out
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's cool. So then you spent some time, I don't tell me if I'm wrong, but you spent some time in LA and Nashville as well while you were writing it.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
How did that kind of shape the album or like influence your writing and just like the sound?
Yeah. Well, so I went to LA first, and that was mainly because I started listening to Joni Mitchell and
Oh,
Nick. I was so inspired by that. Um, I think because then I started writing the guitar because of that a lot more. So it kind of got this Laurel Canyon feel, and I felt like that's where people maybe would understand the music a bit more that I was making. Um, so I went there. I stayed in Topanga Canyon, which is so beautiful and like all hidden away, and like the house was really quirky, like hundreds of like weird little windows, and yeah, it was amazing being there and just the landscape and just being somewhere completely different
mm-hmm.
than where I grew up. Um, and I wrote Evergreen there, and that was like I remember writing that and feeling like this feels right for the album, and I feel like I'm in the right place now. Um, and then yeah, then I went to Nashville, and that's like the home of storytellers. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's a musician
Oh
and
yeah, literally every person on the street.
amazing. Um, and I had such a good time there because there's no pressure at all when you're writing. It just feels like everyone wants to have a good time and have a fun day. And
See if
so,
some music comes of it. Like if it happens, it happens.
yeah, they just want to make a nice song, like something beautiful. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And I met Ian Fitchuk and Daniel Tashin there, who produced the record.
Right. How was working with them? How do you feel like that? What did that like bring out of you? Maybe that you didn't know it was there before. Maybe.
Um, I don't know. It was quite instant though. Like when we were writing, I felt like we got on really well, and we wrote Surrender first. We had 3 days together, and we wrote 3 songs. And I don't know. It suddenly felt like I was where I was meant to be when I met them. I felt like it was
That's
yeah,
lovely.
yeah. No, they're so talented, and Daniel's like an incredible lyricist, and he'd sit with me because that was kind of the struggle on this record was like getting the right lyrics for me because I felt like what I wanted to say was so important and I didn't know how to song. And so he'd like listen to me like sort of mumbling and decipher somehow. He'd be like, "This is what you're saying," and he would like, I was like speaking in tongues, and he'd write it out, and yeah, it was amazing.
I love that. So collaborative. That's like the perfect collaboration. You're like, here's what I'm kind of thinking, and he's like, let me make sense of this for you. So cool. Are you hoping you'll get to work with them again just because it went so well this time?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean they're so talented, and they play everything. So on the record, it was kind of just the three of us like playing all
So
the.
cool.
So yeah, it's great to work with them. Yeah.
Are there other producers or is anybody out there that you'd really love to like collaborate with? That's a huge question. There's so many people out there.
I don't know. Um, I mean, I've worked because also on this record, James Ford produced a few songs, and I've worked with him on most of my albums, and he's so incredible. So I love more with both of those teams of people. Yeah, they're amazing.
I mean, if it works, keep doing it. And then the Surrender video you did with Sophie Mueller, right? How did that kind of come about? And how was just working with her?
That was it was so fun. It was just the two of us because obviously like there were restrictions, so we couldn't have
Right.
a and so it was just her, and she filmed it all on her phone, which
Oh,
is
seriously? You would not know that from watching it.
she's so incredible. And yeah, we just went to St Leonard's Beach, and which was like really stormy, and it was freezing
Okay,
cold.
I was gonna say, was it cold? Because it looked so cold.
I was in so much pain. But I feel like every video I do, I'm always freezing, so I just have to.
Right.
But yeah, she was amazing, and I've worked with her. She did like all the early videos, like Skinny Love, Shelter. Um, she always kind of gets me really well. I feel like she knows what's in my mind. But yeah,
So another good collaborator, someone who's like, I can see where you're going with this. Do you enjoy doing? I know so many artists like doing music videos can be the worst part of it. Do you like it, or is it something you're like? I mean, not maybe when you're working with Sophie, that's going to be great because you can collaborate. But is it something you like dread, or do you not mind doing them?
No, I really enjoy it actually. I love like the whole, yeah. I mean, like all the artwork for the album, like anything visual like that, I really enjoy it. And like making a little storyboard and
Hmm.
also just working with someone like her and like hearing her ideas is, I find that really exciting and fun. Yeah.
Totally, that's cool. I want to talk about a couple other songs. So, "Loneliness" was supposed to be on "Beautiful Lies," right? And then it was held, or it didn't have a place there, so you find room for it on "Young Heart."
Yeah, kind of. I wrote it around that time and I just didn't, I don't know why at the time it just didn't feel quite right. And I think it kind of fits in more with this record and just the themes. Like there are a lot of themes of loneliness and just solitude, and so it just made sense for this one a bit more. And we reworked it. I did it with James Ford, and he kind of reworked it. Suddenly had this different sound. It made a lot more sense to me.
Nice. That's so good you got to use it though. Like it'd be sad to just never have done anything with it. So that's cool to fit in. Is there one song that you're like particularly excited to play live when you finally get to, or that you think people are gonna just like go crazy for? Or maybe one that you're like nervous to play, just like, oh, it's gonna be the most challenging maybe.
Probably like Nobody Knows Me Like You Do is quite, I mean, it's emotionally challenging.
Right. I was gonna say like one that might choke you up while trying to get through.
That's what I don't know if I could get through that one. But it's also got some like big notes of it, which it's quite like terrifying live. But I don't know. I think it would be fun to do Young Heart live. I mean, it's really long, which I don't know. It would be quite cool to like do a big ending with it. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I love doing that live. That songs kind of become something else when you do them live.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah.
Do you have a preference of being in the studio or being on stage, or is it just like both are great?
You got like once you've won for a while, you want to.
Right, I imagine.
But no, because we did this live stream last month, and so I was with my band, and we had a string section and like a
Oh,
whole.
cool.
It was just so nice to be playing again, and we rehearsed like for 2 weeks before that, so we were all like ready to do basically to be touring, and then we did this one show, and then just that was it. So we all like
Right.
go. So yeah,
I'm ready for more. Also, just to be in front of an actual live audience and not, like live streams are cool, but like to actually hear people and see people in front of you will be kind of, I mean, personally, I'm very excited just to go see live music. So I can't imagine as a performer, like what it must feel like to not get to do that for so long.
Yeah, you just don't get the same energy.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but yeah.